So once the recording, what I'll normally do with the recording is I'll upload it to a private YouTube channel, and you will get a copy of the link. So if there's ever anything that you want to go back and rewatch, or for some reason you need to go back and watch the recording, it's going to be available to you. All right, well, let's get started. As a matter of introduction, let me introduce myself first. My name is Arlen Brady, and I am the Director of Training and Development for Floor Coverings International. I work both out of my home office in Columbia, South Carolina, and when there's live training in person in Atlanta, Georgia, I just drive over to Atlanta. It's about a 3.5-hour drive for me, so not a big deal. A background about myself: I spent 25 years in the world of manufacturing. Most of that time was spent in sort of the back of the house: engineering, operations, logistics. I was a plant manager for one of the world's largest cable plants, and right here in South Carolina. So most of my background it's all about process. I mean, that's the thing you can take away from this is process. Now, at one point, I got tired of literally having 7 bosses. I mean, I counted it up on the org chart one day, and I had 7 direct bosses in this global company, and decided that I wanted to start my own company. So I bought a Floor Coverings International franchise, and I went through the training that you're going through. Things have changed a lot over the years. The training has changed, of course. But I was a franchisee in Columbia, South Carolina. My wife and I grew this business. I trained several DAs. I enjoyed training DAs so much that I teamed up with my neighboring franchisee, the guy that owned the other side of town, and I would train his DAs too. I really enjoy the sales process, even though I came from an engineering background. There's something about this sales process, because it is a process and it's structured. I mean, I like structure. That this really speaks to me. So it was a natural fit when the corporate team was looking for somebody to come on board and help new franchise owners and new design associates get their businesses started. It made a lot of sense, and so I ended up, long story short, I ended up selling my territory in Columbia and joining the corporate team. And the reason I did that was, quite frankly, and I know this sounds motherhood and apple pie, but the reason I did it was so that I could help you guys. I mean, this is the reason that I ended up selling my business. So I want to make the most out of this time for you. I want to make sure that you get as much out of this as you possibly can. And in order to do that, I'd like to know a little bit about you and give you an opportunity to share with everybody else over the next few weeks. So just for today, let's get started. Would you please introduce yourself by telling us your name? What is your role? So are you a design associate or a franchise owner? Because we have both on this call. And even though you've got it put in the description, where are you located? And if you're a design associate, who's the franchisee that you're working with? And John, just because you're top left on my screen, you get to go first.
Hi, my name is John Lucier, and I am coming in as a design associate under Jason Gange here in the West Palm, Jupiter area. And my previous life experience was with water treatment, Culligan, Pentair. Pentair did a big downsizing, came at a time when I had a lot of time to look for a new path, and everything that Floor Covering International had was the same process of selling, same CRM, everything that we had actually put together from the ground floor up in my previous world. So I know that these systems work, and I was just looking for something different, something where I could be home at night, not traveling on the road as much as I was. And here I am.
Nice. Thank you. Let's see, Patrick.
How you doing? Patrick Shanahan. I'm in the Northeast San Antonio area with, I'm a design associate with Gabrielle Santry, which it's actually Gabriel and Jennifer is a husband and wife team. And I moved into this area from Houston. And while I was in Houston, I was at a floor store there. So my wife and I made the move out. It's kind of a East Texas to West Texas move. Really didn't think about working within flooring when we get out here. I was kind of thinking about retiring, but things happened. So I went back to the back to work, and I think this is where I learned a lot in the other 4 stores, and I think this is a good fit for me here with floor coverings. And I do appreciate all the training that I see that's going to be happening in the future.
Well, I tell you, Gabe and Jen, I saw Gabe last week in Atlanta. Gabe and Jen are fantastic people. Absolutely love them. Absolutely love them. Let's see, David Tanner, Las Vegas.
Good morning, everyone.
There he is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, your audio is sort of crackly.
I will increase my, I don't know, let's try a little closer. How's that?
There we go. Let's try it there.
Good morning. I am David Tanner in Las Vegas West. I'm working with Brad and Kyla Brown. Brand new to the flooring industry. Fairly brand new to in-home sales, but I was with a company before this with in-home sales and was fairly successful. So I'm looking forward to trying floor coverings and having some fun with it.
Nice, thank you. Timothy. Good, Timothy, there he is.
Hi, my name's Tim Lucero. I'm working as a design associate for Brad Hawkins in Central New York in the Syracuse market. I have a background in capital equipment, industrial vacuum and air handling systems like HVAC, that kind of stuff. I have had some in-home experience with HVAC, and I literally wasn't really that seriously looking. But I met Brad and I was sold on him as a business owner, as a leader, as a person. And that really kind of fast tracked things. I thought, I've owned my own business in the past and I thought this guy's going to be successful. I want to be part of his team. So just looking forward to getting started.
When you say that Brad's going to be successful, you have understated that horribly.
Yeah.
Understated that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
He's a very
let's see, Jesse.
Hi, good morning here from Colorado. My name is Jesse Quant. I recently moved here from Boynton Beach, Florida. It's kind of funny that there's a Boynton Beach around here. It's also funny that I applied for that job as well. Before making the move out here. I got here March 1st. I was prior to coming over to Floor Coverings International as a DA, I was working with AT&T for almost 10 years and was like, the corporate life isn't for me anymore. So decided to give this a shot, and think it's the right decision. It's going to pay off forward.
Nice. Nice. Well, Mick is fantastic. I've worked with Mick. I've been to his location in Parker. Side note, I'll be in your area here in about a month. My daughter graduates from Fort Collins, from Colorado State University up in Fort Collins here in about a month. So.
Okay, yeah. Mick McKenney is my franchise owner, and we moved. We recently got a new office / showroom.
Nice. Nice. Let's see, Clayton.
Hello, I am in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which that is just kind of middle Tennessee, right? Almost dead center middle Tennessee. We actually have a little monument in town here that is I guess you'd call it the absolute center. I am a design associate working with Scott Grisham here. Super awesome guy to be working with. I've actually already been working with him for about 6 weeks now, so I'm kind of ahead of the game a little bit.
Nice.
Now, I am new to Tennessee in 2020. My background before that, I was an underground coal miner. I did that for 19 years. And after that many years, my body said enough is enough. So I actually come to Tennessee in 2020 to get into real estate. So I've been a real estate agent for almost 3 years as well. And I don't know if you all know anything about the real estate market, but the last 8 months have not been very pretty. So Scott and I, we got together a couple times when he was looking for someone, and this is going to be a good pairing because of all the people that I know in real estate can help build this, flooring business.
Nice. Nice. Let's see, John Hester.
Hey guys, John Hester here. I'm in the Duluth area of Atlanta, Northeast Atlanta. Jenny Hong is my franchise owner. I thought she's awesome. She's really the reason I wanted to make the change. I spent about 14 years as a manufacturer representative selling wedding dresses and prom dresses. And totally different world, but I'm excited about the opportunity, ready to get started.
Nice. Yeah, Jenny told me, so I get a lot of backstory on you guys before this starts, and she told me that you went, if I get my numbers right, you picked up an area that, they were selling like $600,000 a year in dresses, and instantly you show up and it's 2 million. So maybe that's just fluff on the resume, but
Yeah, highlight on the resume for sure. But yeah, inherited $700,000 territory. I used to travel the Southeast. It had kind of not been traveled too well, but once you get out there, road warrior, within I think 2 years, I had it over 2 million. So and just tried to keep it going.
Nice. Roland.
Hey everyone, Roland Costanzo from Central New Jersey. I spent the last 30 years in the engineering and environmental remediation space. Worked my way up to the chief operating officer of a company and decided that it was time to do something different. Missed owning a business. I used to own a MMA school for 20 years. Closed that down about 3 years ago, and I really missed having my own thing. So I decided to focus all my attention into one space and make it something totally new. So here I am.
Nice. Let's see. Let's go to Anthony.
Morning, everyone. My name is Anthony Comres. I am in the Torrance, California, South Bay area. I'm a DA, working under Natalie Dam. I have an extensive sales background, new to flooring though, but excited to be here and learn.
Nice. Let's see, Azam. Azam, you'll need to take yourself off mute, sir.
Hello, everybody.
Got it.
Well, my name is Azam Abu Samra. I'm from Lawrenceville, Georgia, Metro Atlanta. I work, or I'm going to start be working with Mr. Owen Kachaj. And
Right.
I come from the same background, very much what floor coverings does. I work for Royalty Carpets, but it's a smaller company. So I figured, if I'm going to stay in this kind of work, I better enjoy and join success with flooring, coverings international. I Googled the company. I like what I read about the company and the stability that it has, and the length of time that it's been in business, and some customer reviews and all that. And I was happy with what I seen, so I decided to apply for the job. And I met with Mr. Owen, and I'm moving forward, to hopefully to accomplish what I'm looking for.
Nice.
Thank you all.
Nice. Welcome.
Thank you.
So you and John are not that far apart. If you're in Lawrenceville and he's in Duluth, I can see some practice sessions with the two of you guys together. I like it.
Okay.
Let's see, Kelsey.
John.
Hi, everyone. My name's Kelsey Thompson, and I'm based out in East Texas in Tyler. So I am a co-owner with my husband. He was in the previous class, and I recently hopped on board. So that's why I'm in this class right now. My previous career had nothing to do with flooring. I was a fashion buyer for JCPenney and then Cavender's, which is a Western clothing company. So went from fashion buying to floors. So yeah, excited to be a part of this.
I love it. I love it. Let's see, Richard Weaver.
Hey guys, my name is Richard. I am in South Lake, Texas. I work for Joe and Valerie Jordan. I'm pretty new to the Texas lifestyle. Absolutely love it. Coming from California, I actually worked for a Floor Coverings International for a couple of years there in Southern California, and had the opportunity recently to meet up with Joe and get the opportunity to become a DA here. And I'm excited and I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of opportunity here.
Nice, nice. So Richard, if you go far enough back, Joe Jordan and I were in the same original initial training class when I started my business and when he started his. So Joe and Valerie are fantastic. Good.
I believe you guys were all at the first Cancun trip that we all went to together. I was actually at that exact same trip. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because you were with Jen Thavis, right?
Yep. In 2016.
Yep. Let's see, Michael Forte.
Hello, everyone. Michael, and I'm an owner in Atlanta, Georgia. My background is in executive recruiting, focusing on attorneys, and I just really wanted a change and getting out of the corporate grind. And I know nothing about flooring, but I knew nothing about flooring. I'm getting there now, but it's been fun to learn, and I'm excited to continue that process.
Love it. I love it. Let's see, Amelia.
Hello, good morning. Amelia Lovato here. I am working in Roseville, so Northern California, under Amelia Navarro. So funny, it was a name mix and it kind of got us, I guess, we're very much alike. It's almost like we're the same person, just we're not. So we've hit it off great. I have been in the flooring industry for the last year. Prior to that, I was an in-home sales rep for the last 10 years, whether it was Kirby, HVAC, I sold a lot of solar, things like that. So now I'm kind of just transitioning to sticking with flooring and kind of just growing my empire.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
All right, let's see, Grant.
Hello, everyone. My name is Grant Carter. I am here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm actually part of the corporate team, very new to the corporate team. As of my first day is actually next week. So I'm going to be the director of New Franchise Sales Development Group. I'll be working alongside Joe Benacasa and just really looking forward to being a corporate resource for all of you as well, the DAs, as well as all the owners as they sort of move through the life cycle of growing their businesses. And so as you guys continue to grow your franchises at some point, I think I'll be interfacing with each and every one of you along the way. And I look forward to that opportunity and look forward to growing a great partnership with each of you. So good luck.
Nice, nice. Alyssa. And you're on mute.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I am new to Samsung's, and so I'm an Apple girl. So figuring out these tablets has been a world of its own. Anyways, my name is Alyssa. I am from the Spokane location. So I am under Carter and Bree Stevenson. They're a husband and wife team. It's funny because the more people that I get introduced to, the more people I hear say that they are a husband and wife team that are owners. And I love it because funny fact about me, the day I was actually being born in a hospital is the same day that my dad was signing contracts to his flooring business. He's a subcontractor. So coincidentally, literally grew up in the industry. I've installed and I've done sales, never flooring sales specifically, but I'm really excited to kind of be back in my element and do my thing and meet more people and, cuddle into some more floors.
Love it. I love it. Oh man, I'm going to have so much fun working with your slide one. Oh, that's good stuff. Let's see, Sam. Sam, we don't hear you. You don't show muted on the Zoom, but maybe if you're coming in through the phone, maybe your phone's muted. No, we still don't have you, Sam. I'm going to let you keep working on that. I'm going to move to Tamara, and then we'll come back to Sam if you'll keep working with your technology there. Tamara.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tamara Grevin. I'm a design associate. I'm working with Gina Waljesper. She's in the New Jersey, Bernardsville area. I come from a real estate, property management, and a purchasing production background. And I'm happy to be here.
Nice. Nice. Let's see. Delilah, we don't see your face, but I see your name. Are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Okay. My name is Delilah McNulty. I'm in Fort Mojave, Arizona. I am a design associate working under Chris DeFarney, actually out of Kingman. I have a pretty colorful background. I actually, like Alyssa, have installed flooring before. Pretty different. I liked it. I've worked in factories. I've been a personal trainer. I've done all the things, customer service, love it all. But I've been working under Krista since the beginning of March. And so far it's a very unique job, super different, love the process, love all the customers. It's really cool. And I'm looking forward to continuing to learn about the whole process and everything.
What a great group. I'll tell you what, this really is, and I don't say that for every group, but this is, what a great group. I love the diversity in this group. I love the fact that we've got people that have some flooring background, that don't have flooring background, that have sales, that don't have sales. There's just there's a good mix here. Sam, I want to shoot one more time in your direction and see if we've got you. And we don't hear you, Sam. So you might want to log off and try to log back in on Zoom, and maybe even use your phone for the audio. I need to keep moving, but I'm gonna keep an eye on the waiting room if you decide to log out and log back in. So if you guys don't mind, if you've got the ability to type something into the chat, I know it's hard to do if you're doing this on your phone, but I'm gonna share my screen with you just as a way of keeping myself on track. And I want to talk a little bit about expectations. So what are your expectations for this class? And if you don't mind, just take a moment and type into the chat box, what are some of the things that you're expecting to get out of this class? I don't know what your franchise owners have set you up with. I don't know what they've told you you're going to be doing, but I just kind of want to see, without any bias, what is it that you would like to get, or what is it that you're expecting to get out of this class? I'll give you a minute to type that in the chat box. Anthony says more knowledge. That's good. Like that. We'll definitely do some of that, learning from the experiences. Next layer of the onion. Good. Overall process, product knowledge, sales process. Good. Base products and higher end sales process of FCI. Wanting to be able to pick brains of those in the same industry. I like that. I like that. Keep typing those in there. Give everybody a chance to share that. We're definitely going to get into some real world situations, that's for sure. All right, let's see. Get myself unlost. That's good. You already find yourself lost. I love it. Good. Solidify the sales presentation. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Good. So you can keep typing those in there. While you're doing that, I'm going to move on to sort of what I consider my expectations, our expectations. So I know that it's difficult. I know that it's difficult to do a class by Zoom. I understand that. However, what I have found is that those people that are really engaged on the Zoom can get just as much out of a Zoom class as you can in person. So what does it mean to be engaged and to be focused? Well, first of all, just attend the webinars, right? Yes, I will absolutely record them. And there's going to come a day when you have you have the opportunity to go on an appointment, or you have the opportunity to do something with your franchise owner, and you're going to be torn. Do I go to class or do I do this? Yeah, these will be recorded, but the more you attend, the more you get out of it, because it gives you the opportunity to catch it in real time and to stop me and ask questions. This is absolutely open door. So at any point, take yourself off mute and stop me and ask a question. Complete the assignments and ask for help. So there's going to be homework, and I'm not going to make light of it. There's a lot of homework this week. There is a ton of homework this week, and I'm going to ask you to give it that old college try and do the homework and get it done. I find that those people that stay up with it, again, get more out of it. If you allow yourself to get behind, then instead of being able to focus on what we're covering in that next class, you find yourself, now I'm thinking about last week's stuff or 2 weeks stuff. So people that come in behind the game, or people that allow themselves to get backed up in the homework, it's really hard to catch back up. 5 weeks seems like a really long time. It's going to go by like a flash. In terms of etiquette, join, attend, be prepared for class, be ready to share. There were several of the comments in the chat box, you guys saw them, where people want to be able to share information with one another. So be prepared to share and keep your cameras on. This is really important. When you're trying to engage with other people across the country, if all you see is a name, it doesn't mean a whole lot. Keeping your camera on as much as possible and trying to keep the distractions down, that's going to be really, really important to be able to understand and see people. I mean, I already know that I'm going to really enjoy for the next 5 weeks. I'm going to enjoy watching Amelia smile. That's just what it is. I know that already. So we're going to have a good time with that. All right, today's webinar, what have we got? What are we going to cover today? We've got a lot to cover today. And I know as a trainer, one of the big things that I should do is find a way to build you up this week. And I'm going to start by letting you down, which is completely the opposite. This week is the hardest week of the Inspired Sales class. It is the hardest webinar to go through because it's a lot of me talking. The next week, it's less and less of me and it's a lot more of you, and it's a lot more fun. Today, I have to get a lot of information out, and so it's a lot of me talking and it makes it hard. It's also the worst week in terms of homework because there's a lot that you've got to get right out of the gate. So my apologies, week 1 is the hardest week, but I will say this, if you get through week 1 and you get everything done, it's all easy, it gets easier from here. So it's not, it's almost like, what do they say? If you're going to eat a frog, go ahead and do it. I don't know, eat something. Anyhow, the point is, go ahead and get the hard stuff out of the way first. So today we're going to talk about the scorecard. We're going to talk about our customers and brand. We're going to introduce the Inspired Sales System to you. We'll give you a little bit about the resources and tools that are available to you. And yep, we'll talk about the training tasks and homework and what you've got to do for next week. And at any point, stop me, take yourself off mute, ask a question, okay? If this is an interactive thing, this is not meant for me to talk for 2 hours. So let's look at the scorecard. Everything gets measured at Floor Coverings International. So one of the things that we are going to measure is we're going to measure your how well you're moving along in Floor U and as well as your attendance. So this is your scorecard. And you'll see the very first thing that we measure is we measure attendance. So Savannah is right on top of this, and she's already gone in and marked who's here for this week's class. So we can see that Clayton is here, but Rick is not, and Alyssa's here and Sam is here. And so you can see here, it's a simple yes or no. You're either here or you're not here. Now, I'm going to send the recording out, and if Rick will go back and watch the recording and send me the code word at the end, then he's going to see next week that he'll have a 75% instead of 100. You don't get 100 for not being here, but a 75% if he comes back and watches the recording. The other piece of the puzzle that's being tracked is how well you're moving through the Floor U homework. So there's a week 1 learning plan, a week 2 learning plan, week 3, week 4, and then of course the Salesforce learning plan. And I know some of you have already started this because I can see the progress already. So I just want to show you oh, by the way, one more thing while we're here. We also track the number of ride-alongs that you go on. So I want to show you where those things get tracked in case you haven't seen them yet. So in Floor U, go back to the home page of Floor U for a moment. In Floor U, between today and next Wednesday, you are asked to go through all of this week 1 training material. And then, of course, the next week, you'll get week 2 training material, and the next week will be week 3 training material, et cetera, et cetera. This Inspired Sale 101 course, this is optional. You don't have to go through this, and it's not measured. The completion of weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, that is measured. The other thing that's measured is this Salesforce learning plan. And so you will be asked to come into the Salesforce learning plan as well and to go through those modules. Now, I'll open this one up just so that you can see it. If you haven't been into Floor U yet, this is really simple to use. You go into Floor U and you say, I want to do Salesforce. That's great. You'll see that there's 6 different courses, and inside each course, there's some learning material. So for example, in this first Salesforce basic navigation course, there's 8 lessons, and as you complete them, they'll simply give you a little green check mark and off you go. Now, just to maybe prevent a little anxiety on your part, if you're one of those people that I have to get 100 on everything, I will tell you that there's some of these videos, and for no matter what I do, I can't fix it. There's some of these videos that even if you watch the whole thing, it doesn't mark it complete. It still gives you a little colored box there, and I don't know how to fix it. I mean, there's not a way to fix it. So what will end up happening is on your scorecard, it may say 93% instead of 100%. If it's over 90, to me, it's done. This is a yes or no, pass or fail. This is not a graded thing. So where Salesforce, that first lesson had 8, I do this not to scare you. I do this to help you hopefully see that, yeah, we really do have a lot of homework and can't wait until the night before. I would estimate that there's probably 20 hours worth of work in this first week's worth of homework. This one's pretty straightforward. This is a lot of download, but like just the hardwood section. If I open this hardwood section, this has 20 lessons in it all by itself. So there's a lot of material here, okay? There is a ton of material here. Don't let yourself get behind. Questions about Floor U or how you navigate this or what we're going to do on the scorecard? I'm going to show you the ride-alongs in just a second. Anything up until this point?
That's what I was getting ready to ask.
Ride-alongs, good. So you will all receive, not this one, this one. You will all receive a link to this spreadsheet. And it's a shared sheet, so be careful not to just tear the thing apart. But so far, we've been good. And all you're going to do is click over here to the May class. I'm going to end up hiding the March class anyway. But you'll click over here to the May class, and every one of you has your own place here, right? Everybody's got their place to add stuff. So Clayton, here you go. You're first up because this is alphabetical by last name. And you would simply type in, this is the day that we went on the appointment, and this is the customer name.
Okay, so I can backdate this though?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, because I've already been like, I've probably already done 20 appointments. I want to make sure I get credit for them.
Perfect. Yep, put them in there.
Okay.
And what I would ask is if you guys land the sales, Tim is out there with Brad, and look at every time you land a sale, I just ask you to highlight it. So, and it doesn't have to be a one call close. If you go back, a week later and land it, go back and mark it. this is not, this isn't official metrics. This is just for us as a team right here to be able to celebrate. I mean, I want to go back to Tim and say, my gosh, Tim, what'd y'all do? You had a hot streak, 5 for 5. And, then we have an opportunity to talk about the things that are working for Tim, what's not working, et cetera, et cetera. So this is how we get into a lot of real life situations when we can go back and say, Mike is out there running like crazy with Charles. These two, it looks like they're in a competition, Tim and Mike. Tim's got 34 ride-alongs already, and Mike is sitting at 33. So it's a great opportunity for us to get some real life experience on what's going on out there. Questions about how to update this or what to do with this? Now, what I'll do is this is purely manual. Okay, there's nothing automated about this. I'll simply go to that spreadsheet and I'll look at the total number. And so there's Mike's 33 and here's Tim's 34. That's me just going over there and counting them up and coming over here and plopping them in. So there's nothing automated about that. So I ask you guys to keep that up to date so that on the day we have class, I can update this.
Is that a live spreadsheet or do we have to save it?
It's a live spreadsheet. So when you're done updating your thing, you can close and you're done with it. It's a shared spreadsheet.
And when are we going to get that link?
So you should your franchise owner already has it. Joe already has it, but when I send the recap out, so today, when we're done, it'll be this evening. It takes YouTube a couple of hours to upload these things. When I send out the video, I will also make sure that that link is included. So you will, if you don't have it already, you will have it today.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and then for the franchise owners, I'm simply looking at the number of proposals that you've already done. So Roland, you sent me the name of a customer and I owe you feedback on that guy. So I know you've written at least one proposal and I can keep count of that. So the goal for the design associates is to at least have 25 of these things done before we get to the end of this class, and then to do another 25 after. The goal for franchise owners is to try to get somewhere between 10 proposals written. I'd love for you to do a real ride along with somebody. Multiple ride alongs would be helpful because they really are that helpful. All right, good. Any other questions before we move on? Nope. All right, let's keep trucking. Question for the group. Take yourself off mute. Who do you think is our customer?
The world.
The world.
Everyone.
So let's see. Amelia, who do you think is our customer?
Generally, are we speaking age group, gender?
The lady with the white shirt.
In this photo?
Never mind the photo. Where am I getting this back?
I think you're getting feedback from everybody being unmuted.
Yeah, for anybody working on the computer, you should probably mute because your speaker's picking up your mic.
Yeah, so let's see. Clayton, you were jumping in. Who do you say is our customer?
And realistically, anyone that you either receive a call from that is wanting service, or someone that you seek out through networking.
Okay.
Would be the way that I look at it.
Okay. All right, other thoughts? Who do you say is your customer?
I would just say like homeowners, business owners, like people that, investors, real estate agents, people that have to, speaking of our industry, right? Like we all have connections to other sides of the construction industry. Like you're speaking to the consumer that has a need, right? Like that's how I think of it.
Okay, good. Other thoughts? Tamara looks like she wants to say something, but she's just, what do you think, Tamara?
Well, what I was actually thinking someone already said, but our customer is sometimes a person who, has a disaster in their house and needs new flooring, or it's someone who just wants to make a change, and it could be anyone. It could be someone you meet in the grocery store. It could be someone that you meet at a BNI meeting. So anyone you come in contact in your life could be a customer of yours.
Good. Okay, I like that. So
I think that's a really good answer.
Go ahead, Richard.
I was saying, I think that's a really good answer, because it really is anybody that you see, or, I go into Lowe's sometimes with my wife to go look at flowers or gardening and things like that. And you overhear people talking, and it's as simple as just, this is who I am and this is what I do. If I can help you out, I will. And it's really that simple. It could just be somebody walking by you having a conversation. I know you don't want to be nosy. You don't want to be that person that's listening to somebody else, but that's money in your pocket if you hear them talk about something that you can handle. So
I love it. So one of the best definitions that I've heard somebody give me for who is our customer is anybody that needs a floor and can find a way to pay for it. I think too often people will try to subset it and say, well, it's got to be, somebody that's 30 to 60 and in this demographic and in this income range, and they, somebody that likes tennis and sailing. And the reality is, if somebody needs a floor and they have any way possible to pay for it, they could absolutely be our customer. I want to walk through this quickly. So this is a very, very high level view of what our customer journey looks like. Awareness. A customer becomes aware that they have a floor. And I know that sounds silly. Yeah, I know I have a floor, but people go through life not really thinking about all the little things in life. I mean, yes, I have walls, I have paint on the walls, I have ceiling, I have floor, but people don't really think about their floor. At some point, something triggers them to start thinking about their floor. It might be something on HGTV. It might be a commercial they saw. It might be they saw their neighbors, getting flooring done or whatever. And it sparks for them a felt need. So I look at my floor and I say, you know what? I'm really tired of seeing the stains in the carpet, or I'm really tired of seeing the scratches in the hardwood, or you know what? This color just doesn't work for me anymore. Whatever it is, or it might be something that's more tangible, like, hey, we just had the dishwasher explode, and now there's water damage, and I have to do something, right? So it could be any of those things, right? So the customer starts to seek out someone to help them with this need, and they make first contact with us. First contact could be at a home show. It could be at a small event. It could be, you're sponsoring a 5K run in your town, or some little festival in your town. It could be that they found you on Google. They found you on Home Advisor, on Angie's List, wherever. First contact might have been with you in person at some sort of event, or it might have been through the call center or through the website. So there's a lot of, if you think about awareness, felt need, first contact, a lot of those first three boxes really talk to marketing. What does it mean to get a customer to make first contact and to be able to book an appointment? Okay. Now, sales. The sales piece, which is where we're going to focus the bulk of our time in this class, that's the consultation phase. So that's where you show up at the house to give the customer a proposal. I call them proposals. I don't call them estimates. I don't call them quotes. When I asked my wife to marry me, I gave her a proposal. I didn't give her an estimate. I proposed to her. So there's a little more commitment with a proposal than there is with the estimate or quote. Then, of course, there's the delivery. And to be clear, that doesn't mean that we're just dropping the material off at the front door and leaving. Delivery means you're delivering on all the promises that you made. So that's your installation promises. It might be that you promised to move all the furniture. It might be that you promised to redo some trim work or whatever. So did you deliver on your promise? Confirmation means going back to the customer's home to make sure that everything was done according to all the promises that were made. And then residual meaning is sort of sort of a blend between production and marketing, because that's really where you're staying top of mind with that customer and the great things that they did with them, so that they're willing to give you referrals, they're willing to be on your reference list, they're willing to help you book more business. So delivery, confirmation, residual meaning, I'm going to circle those as production. We could argue residual meaning, production, marketing. It doesn't really matter. This continues to circle around and around. But what we're going to focus on is this consultation phase, and what does it mean to get a customer to buy from you? So I'm going to ask you that question. Why do people decide to buy from you? What are the reasons? What are the thought processes that make somebody buy from you?
Trust.
What is that, Michael?
Trust.
Good.
They,
Trust.
Quality and price.
Okay. Quality, price.
they accept you as an art.
Like they
Okay,
say, social acceptance.
All right. Good. What else? Maybe you think back to the last time you made a big purchase. What was it that made you decide to go with who you went with?
Customer
Buying
service.
Buying factor is
Trust.
who they are buying from.
Okay. Who they're buying from. Okay.
Trust.
All right.
I like the person. I like their personality.
Okay. Good.
They educate you.
Missed that one.
They were able to educate me.
All right. Okay, so there was a study that was done. It was not a Floor Coverings International study. It was just a study that was done in the greater market on buying factors and what was the reason that people chose to buy. And the number one reason, and this won't surprise you, the number one reason that people chose to buy a particular product or a particular service from a particular company or person, the number one reason that people buy is because of the person that they worked with. So Tamara said it. I just like the guy. Yep, that's true. That's the way it works. I mean, that's the number one reason. And by the way, this is statistically in order of preference. So the number one reason, above price, above product, above anything else, the number one reason that people bought from who they bought from is simply because they connected with the person that they were working with. So that talks to your behavior as a salesperson. It talks to the way that you treat people. It talks to whether or not you can connect with people. The number two reason was because of the company and the company's reputation. So this is where 5-star reviews come in. This is where, an online reputation. This is where word of mouth reputation. This is where all that stuff plays a part in it. You do a great job for people, and then they tell two people, and they tell two people, and they tell two people. So the top two reasons that people choose to buy from who they choose to buy from, the first reason is the person. Straight up. You're going to have people that buy from you just because they like you, period. You're going to have people that buy from you because they like you and they like your company. Okay, great. The third reason that people choose to buy is because of the product that you brought out. Okay, so the last vehicle that I bought, it was used, but it's new to me, was a Dodge Charger, and I bought that because I wanted a Dodge Charger. There was nothing else on the lot that I was interested in. That's exactly what I wanted, okay? And I will tell you straight up that I liked the guy. The company was okay, but for me, it was all about that product. That's exactly what I wanted. Now, you're going to have some people that you find the perfect color hardwood, you find the perfect shade of carpet that they're looking for, and they're going to buy because they absolutely love that product. Now, the fourth thing is the price, okay? And when I say price, I don't necessarily mean that you have to be the cheapest price. It means that you have to be able to show the customer the value in the price that you're bringing. So I want you to keep these things in mind, because these are the 4 reasons that people choose to buy from you. They choose to buy from you as a person. They choose to buy from your company. They choose to buy the product that they absolutely fell in love with. And then you have shown them that they're getting a value for the money that they're spending for that. Now, what I found most interesting in this study that was done is that price is not number one. A lot of times people think, yeah, it's got to be the price. It's not. I mean, price is important. It's on the list of the top 4, but it is actually in the 4th position. So I want to talk a little bit about what does it mean for somebody to buy from you, and what are the chances that somebody's going to buy from you? So you've got some people that if they like you and you are competent enough to be able to give them a price. Now, I'm not saying that you can be, 2 or 3 times the market. I'm saying that you have a price that is reasonable. Okay, we can put reasonable in quotes if you like, and you're a nice enough person. You should be able to land at a 20% close rate. If you have a 20% close rate, to be honest, that's nothing special. That means that you can smile and flip a price. And that's okay. I mean, that's a good place to start. But if you're, I'll hear people say, well, why did they buy from me today? Well, they just told me they liked me. Okay, well, that tells me that you kind of fall in that 20% range. Okay, that's good. That's that group of the market. I'm going to say with qualifiers, they're going to buy from you no matter what. And there's some, you can push that to the limits, but the reality is that you've got about 20% of the people out there that if you're just pleasant, if you smile, if you connect with them, and if you can give them a competent estimate, a competent proposal for their flooring, they're going to buy from you. There's another 20% of the people that it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter. They're not buying. Now, maybe they're not buying because you know what? All they're doing is getting a budget, and they're trying to understand what to budget for next year or for the next 5 years, and they're not going to buy until they have the money saved up. And that's fine. There's that segment of the population. I'm okay with that. But there's 20% of the people that no matter what you do, they are not buying from you today. It doesn't matter how hard you try. So when we talk about having a sales system, do you need a sales system to be able to sell to the 20% that are going to buy from you no matter what? No, you don't. Here's your sales system. Be nice, show a price. Done. We're done with training. Everybody go work. That's it. Be nice and show a price, and you should land 20%. Okay? And for the 20% that are not going to buy no matter what, do we need a sales system for them?
No.
No. And as a matter of fact, somebody's going to call me in a few weeks and say, Arlen, I just ran into this customer and they did this and they did this and they did this and they did this. And I tried everything in the world and they're never going to buy. They're not buying. And I'm like, okay, well, they're in that 20%. I mean, the reality is there's no way to design a sales system to chase after those 20%. The sales system is for the 60% in the middle. And how well you execute a sales system, by the way, how many of you just naturally, be honest, how many of you just naturally are very process driven? It's okay if you're not. How many of you are very process driven? All right. So for those of you that are very process driven, you're going to really love this because it's a process and here it is, right? For those of you that say, I'm not very process driven, the reality is that in sales, you have a process. Now your process might look completely different, but at the end of the day, the best salespeople in the world have a process, whether you recognize it and walk through it that way or not. The reason you have a sales process and the reason you have something that you can practice and that you can get better and better at is because you're trying to get this 60% in the middle. So how well you can execute a sales process dictates whether or not you're closer to the 20% or you're closer to the 80% close rate. Let me just stop there and see what questions or doubts or pushback or anything else you might have. All right, we move forward. So how do we become the customer's choice? Well, first of all, it's our brand. So what is our brand? Our brand is Floor Coverings International. Our tagline is that we're the stars of flooring. So our brand is not the stars of flooring. Our brand is Floor Coverings International. We are the stars of flooring it's a tagline for us, okay? When you think about a brand, what comes to mind? When I say pick your favorite brand, what comes to mind? Everybody's got something.
AT&T, Amelia's got Starbucks, $15 coffees, you know.
That's right. In California, that's a $25 coffee. Thank you very much.
At least.
All right. What else? Who are some of your favorite brands?
I mean, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Best Buy,
Nike.
Target.
So now we know
There's a lot of Target
Apple.
shoppers.
Calvin
So we know
Klein.
Jesse's the technology guy. Alyssa?
Who
Calvin
stands
Klein.
behind the company?
Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Honda.
All right. So the Clayton, Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Honda, which one of those would be your favorite amongst those?
I tell you what, I was a All-American Ford and GM guy for a long time, but I tell you what, I drive a Honda Pilot now, a brand new one, and I would take that thing over every single one of them every day of the week.
All right. So what is it about that? Is it, I mean, what characteristics make you, now I'm a Honda Pilot fan?
Reliability.
Okay.
Reliability is probably one of the greatest factors to me of a Honda vehicle is they're not going to fail you.
Okay. All right. Let's do another one. Somebody give me their favorite brand of something. Let's see. I'll go to Patrick. Patrick, take yourself off mute and tell me give me a favorite brand of yours.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. I would say Yeti is a good brand.
Oh, good. Okay. So what is it about Yeti that makes that, I would ask this question. What does Yeti stand for? I mean, when you see the name Yeti, what does that bring to mind?
Durability. I think it's like the best quality out there.
Okay, good.
They have a good,
All right. So
good line of product also,
Okay. So if Yeti started putting out these little cheap styrofoam coolers, that break every time you look at them, would that do some damage to the brand?
Sure.
Sure, it would. Okay. So a brand, it's important to protect the brand with what it, with what it means, right? I'll give you a good flooring example. Show of hands, has anybody heard of the brand Stainmaster? Anybody heard of Stainmaster?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Somebody that has been around flooring. What is Stainmaster? What is that brand? What does that mean? What does that mean?
A lot of people refer to it as like the pedigree system, or it just kind of has this like a Scotch Guard topping or top coat.
Okay. All right. So Stainmaster, to give you a little industry background, Stainmaster was developed by DuPont, and it was just that. It was like a coating that you could put on, particularly on carpet, to give it a stain protection. Okay. So Stainmaster started as like a product made by DuPont. Stainmaster became a brand name, and it got licensed by DuPont. And so Shaw had some, and Mohawk had some, and this company had some, and that company had some. And so what they would do is they'd pay DuPont for the privilege of using that proprietary formula and then being able to brand a particular carpet as a Stainmaster carpet. Okay. Now, what you may not know is that the name Stainmaster, that brand, was recently sold to Lowe's. So everybody knows who Lowe's Home Improvement is, right? Okay. The name Stainmaster, the brand name Stainmaster, was sold to Lowe's. That means that Lowe's now owns that name. Lowe's can put the name Stainmaster on anything they want to put it on. So one day you're going to be walking through Lowe's and you're going to see a Stainmaster toilet, you're going to see a Stainmaster garden hose, you're going to see a Stainmaster rake or shovel or hoe, you're going to see Stainmaster screwdrivers, you're going to see Stainmaster on stuff that doesn't make any sense because it's just a name. All right, so part of what having a brand means that you have to be able to protect that brand. So if Lowe's decides to water that name down, it doesn't mean anything anymore. And their investment in being able to tout this as being Stainmaster doesn't mean anything. All right, so what is our brand?
Arlen, wouldn't, I mean, with branding, the word goodwill was used for so many years as a backer to that. I mean, the goodwill behind that brand.
Absolutely. Yep. That gets into the, you know, it's the goodwill. It's the value of the brand that you can't really touch, but you know it's there, right? All right. So this is what our brand stands for. Our brand, we have a two-part vision statement for our company. One is to provide the best in-home flooring experience in North America. And the second part of the vision statement is to have 250 franchisees that average $2 million in sales. Now, when we get to the second piece, the first piece of that, we're there. If you look at online reviews, if you look at NPS scores, if you look at Google reviews, and you compare us to any other regional or national company, yeah, there might be a small mom and pop shop in your territory, in your town that's doing a great job. But if you compare us to somebody that has some reasonable size, we are absolutely providing the best in-home flooring experience in North America. Don't take my word for that. That's according to all the statistics. 250 franchisees that average $2 million in sales. We will have more franchisees than that. I think I forget what the number is, but the system tops out at like 450 or 500 franchisees. But to be able to get 250 to average $2 million a year in sales is the goal of the company or the vision of the company. So how do we do it? Through our values. First of all, deliver what you promise. So I've already promised you that I'm going to send you a recap out today. So me standing behind the brand means that I have to deliver you a recap today. That's part of keeping your promise. For you guys, keeping your promise is you tell a customer, yes, I'll send this over to you today, or I'll send this over to you tonight, or yes, we're going to install this floor this way. It's delivering on what you promised. Secondly is respecting the individual. So for me, if I drive to a house that's a $6 million house, or if I drive to a single wide mobile home, it doesn't matter because I'm going to respect the individual. It has nothing to do with the size of their home or the size of their paycheck. Have pride in what you do. There should never be a day that you can't wear a Floor Coverings International shirt with some pride. You know, are you going to be the salesperson that when you walk through the grocery store, if you see one of your customers, do you want to go up and see them because you know you did a great job for them? Or do you see them and now you want to turn and go down the next aisle because you're trying to avoid them? So there should be a ton of pride in the work that you do. Be open-minded to possibilities and practice continuous improvement. And this is so important, especially right now in a brand new training class, to understand that, hey, you know what? We're all going to learn this together and we're going to get better and better as we go. You are never going to be any worse at this sales system than you are right now. Okay, good. So we're all going to get better from here. And we're going to engage in the community and make it fun. And this is one of the ones that this is so important. You guys are all going to have the opportunity to be part of a big group me with this group, to be able to share information with each other, to share experiences with each other, to ask questions of each other. Just engage in your community and let's make this a fun experience. I know this week is going to be a hard week. Good. Go into the group me and say, you know, what'd y'all pick up from this, or what'd you pick up from this? Now, our standards, when we show up at the home, we're going to be available when the customer needs us to be available. We're always going to run appointments in branded apparel and in a mobile showroom, and we are going to show up on time. for the inspired sale, I'm going to skip this right now because I'm going to go into the inspired sale in detail. So first, what is the inspired sale? Well, it is a consistent brand experience, and it is a repeatable and coachable system. What I mean by that is, if we're all speaking the same language, then we can help one another. So, you know, let's just say that I'll pick on David. David's out in Las Vegas. Let's say David picks his own way of selling stuff. And then he goes 2 or 3 weeks and he's having a really, really hard time selling. Well, David calls me and says, hey, can you help me with something? Well, I'd love to help you. What are we doing? Well, I haven't been able to sell anything in the last 2 or 3 weeks and I'm really struggling. Okay. Well, my frame of reference is the inspired sales system. Everybody else's frame of reference is the inspired sales system. If David has picked some other sales system to use, well, then I'm not going to be able to help. I mean, I'd love to, but I can't, because I can't learn 4,000 different sales systems. You know, this is the reason that we have a unified sales system, is not because we want a bunch of mindless drones out there doing stuff. Quite the opposite. I want you to make this your own. But it's so that we can actually help one another. And so you'll get to a point where design associates are helping design associates. Design associates are practicing with other design associates to really get good at this. So what is the inspired sales system? I want to jump back to my whiteboard and work through this together. Give me just a second to make the transition back here. All right, so if we wanted to come up with just a basic sales process, if we wanted to whiteboard a basic sales process, never mind putting any titles on it or anything else, this is our new sales process. All right, so you show up at a customer's home. We can sort of bypass the, you know, hand them a business card and wipe your feet off at the front door and that sort of thing. What is the first thing that you want to do when you show up at a customer's home?
Create rapport.
Yeah, good. All right. So I want to build some rapport. Tell me a little bit about that. What does that look like?
Speaking on the neighborhood, observing maybe possible interest and noticing just certain things to build that relationship.
Okay.
Pets, whatever.
All right.
Yeah, you get personal with them.
Personal family.
Good. Personal family. Delilah
we
says
used to call
compliment
it-
home decor.
We used to call it breaking down that wall of ice, according to the
Yeah, sure.
old sales system. I mean, and just making it so that the customer's not as icy as they would be, because they're apprehensive about somebody coming into their home and they're just going to sell you something. So
Yeah,
breaking down that
absolutely.
wall of
Somebody
ice and getting that where you can meet up with somebody and be on the same wavelength, and they know that you know kind of like what they're thinking and just who they are. And that's the best part about it.
Good. All right. So building rapport is all about the person, right? It's not about the floor. It's about the person. So I just want to get to know the person. Okay. All right. Now that we've had a chance, we've spent 10 or 15 minutes getting to know the person. What's the next thing that we need to do?
Find out why we're there.
Okay. Tell me what you mean, John.
Why am I here today? What made you call us and have us come out today? Tell me all about it.
Okay, good, right? So can I summarize that and say we're trying to find the customer's needs?
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay,
Can I help you
all
with?
right. So I want to find out what my customer's needs are. That makes sense. And so in order to do that, I might want to understand a little bit about what they currently have. And in the future, what they want it to look like. All right, but that's okay. So now I've had a chance to build some rapport with the customer, and I've had a chance to figure out what they currently have and what their needs are. Understand why we're there. What is the problem that we're trying to solve?
Their
Okay.
problem. Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think we probably ought to do next?
Ask them how long they've wanted to get floors.
Okay, well that probably falls into the needs section, right? How long? What are you trying to do? What do you want it to look like? How long's it been? Right? Trying to understand what the scope of that problem is. Like that.
What's your time frame?
Yep.
Get an
That's all part of
objection?
that need.
Show me
might-
what we're
Product.
looking at. Show me what you're looking at.
Okay, what do you mean, John?
Show me I want to do the scope of the job. I want to see what the job is entailed. Take me to the room, take me to the floor, take me to where we're going to create this solution for you. So we can look at it, discuss it further.
Good. All right,
Shall
so it may be that we really dive into an inspection, right? So let's walk the space together. I want to see what it is that we're going to do. I want to see what it is that you're ripping out and what we're putting in, so we really understand what the scope is, right?
Mhm.
So we understand the scope, we understand the timeline, we understand what the customer's needs are. So once we've had a chance to build rapport and to really establish the customer's needs, what makes the most sense next?
To show the product.
Well, you could, but while we're in the home, why don't we go ahead and measure it? Okay. So we're in the house. We've walked the space with the customer, and the customer has told us what they're looking for and everything. And so now we're just going to take a moment. We're going to measure the space, and we're going to price out the job. But I'm going to call this my rough draft. My rough draft proposal. And the reason I'm calling it my rough draft proposal is I don't know exactly what the customer wants yet. I mean, I know what they want. They're looking for a carpet, they're looking for a hardwood, they're looking for this. I kind of know what they're looking for, but I don't know the exact board yet. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of proposals. I'm going to build some options on my tablet so that I have them ready to go. And then it's just a matter of changing out a product if I need to later. But then the hard work is done. All right, so I've built some rapport. I've had a chance to understand what the customer needs are. I've had a chance to measure the job and come up with a rough draft of the proposal, which I can tweak later. At some point, we need to tell the customer who we are and what we do. So there's got to be a way for us to explain
Our story.
who we are and what we do, right? Because if I don't do that, if I don't show them who we are, this is the opportunity for me to build value. Okay, all right, so what's next? We've gotten to know them as a person. We understood what their needs are. We measured the space. We explained who we are and what we do. What are we missing here?
Show them options
Why we do it.
relevant to what they're looking for.
Design.
Oh, good. Yeah, let's actually pick a product. I like that. We actually have to pick a product. By the way, Kelsey underrated herself at the beginning when she said she bought stuff. She also designed clothing. So, let's be real here. Here's somebody that's going to come into the house with it's all of a sudden the customers are going to fall in love with her because they're like, oh my gosh, you got an eye for this. Yeah, I love it. All right, so good. So you're going to help the customer pick product.
I think for team members, especially with the breadth of products we have, I think the design portion is so important for our company. I plan on making the design of the project I propose to them really personalized, and I think it becomes less about price and more about that value and return on investment that I can make it about their own and not the Joneses. And they might have called us reputation, but they're going to buy from us because of what we're going to build together in their home that day. And I love
100%.
portion of it.
I completely agree with you, David.
Yeah, 100%.
That's all for me. Sorry.
Yep, 100%. It's got to be personal. It has to be personal. All right, so we've had a chance to get to know them. We've had a chance to understand their needs. We've had a chance to measure the job. We've had a chance to explain who we are and what we do. We've had a chance to help pick the product with the customer so it's personal to them. I love that, David. What are we missing here?
I'm kind of just going to throw something out, and I guess I'm in the middle of reading a book, and it's Start with Why. And that kind of what drives a lot of my sales. I noticed that it's kind of here, you know, who, where, what we do, things like that. But a lot of people respond to why you do things, and that's a part of kind of the personal and, you know, building rapport beginning stages. But it does take you the whole way through the sales process when you are starting, and always considering that why we're doing everything, why you're choosing this product, why you're choosing the company, why we do those things we do.
I love it.
I love it.
All right. What else are we missing though?
Building value in the product.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to say right here, we're building value when we're helping the customer pick the product. We're building value in the product.
And the benefits for the customers of that product.
Sure. Yep. That's all going to be part of that product. What's the one big thing that the customer wants from you?
The price.
The price. The price. Right? We got to give them a price.
Almost a proposal, so I assume that person nailed it.
Sorry, what was that, David?
I thought somebody had mentioned proposal. Didn't somebody say proposal?
So back here, we come up with what I call a rough draft of the proposal, but we don't show the customer yet. Okay, the customer sees
I completely agree.
The customer sees the price for the first time all the way at the end. My face might be in the way.
Arlen, is it safe to say that you're still using that point from rough draft proposal till when you do reveal as further discovery?
Yeah, so at some point in here, let's say back to blue, at some point in here, right about here, I'm going to make whatever, you know, last minute
tweaks.
Yeah, tweaks. Okay, so we'll get into why we do it that way. But if I were to just to put together a rough draft of the proposal, so I know 99% of what I need. The last thing that I need is just the actual product name. Then once the customer says yes, this is the one I absolutely love, it's very fast to be able to just change that one product rather than then telling the customer, okay, well, let me sit here for 20 minutes and put some numbers together. So it shortens that cycle at the very end. All right, so let me ask you guys this. You've had an opportunity to help me design this brand new sales system. Is there anybody that would be, I know we've got to flush out some details, so we don't have all the details on this, but at least from a big picture standpoint, if we said we're going to come into a house and we're going to build rapport. We're going to understand what the customer needs are. We're going to measure the job, come up with a price. We're going to explain who we are and what we do and why we do it. We're going to help the customer pick out a product that they absolutely love, make whatever tweaks in the proposal we need to, and then show the customer a price and ask them for a sale. Is there anybody in here that's against this process that we just drew on the board? Anybody look at this and say, no, I can't support that. That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, good. Because this is the inspired sales system. That's it. Now you know it. Now, over the next few weeks, we're going to add a lot of color to this, okay? Over the next few weeks, we're going to add tactics and we're going to add additional things to make it stronger, because this is just an outline. This is just a skeleton. So we're going to take and we're going to put some meat on these bones, and we're going to make this a real sales system with a lot of stuff that we can practice and stuff that we can get better at. And there's going to be some tactics that you push back on and say, I don't really like that. Okay, you know what? You got to make it your own. And there's going to be other tactics that you look at and say, oh my God, that's brilliant. I have to do it. Okay, great. Okay, then, go out and do it with the best of them. At the end of the day, if you're doing this, you're doing the inspired sales system. And the reason that I say it this way, and the reason that I do this, is because I know that for some of you, you have franchise owners that say, oh, I don't use the inspired sales system. Well, what I think you'll find when you peel back the onion is that they actually do use the inspired sales system. This is exactly what they're doing. It's just that there are certain tactics that maybe they've chosen not to use. Okay, well then that's a sales tactic that you chose not to use. The reality is, like, I read a book that said that salespeople, if you're wearing a blue shirt, for whatever reason, people can relate to the color blue. And for whatever reason, statistically speaking, if you're wearing blue, you have a higher percentage chance of selling a job. Okay, so if I tell you that, maybe you decide that you want to go out and you want to buy all blue shirts, and now you have like a standard uniform and it's always blue. I don't care. Wear red. It doesn't matter, right? This is just it is truly just a tactic. Okay, great. It's a tactic. That's what it is.
All of my shirts are blue.
Perfect, right? I mean, it makes it a lot easier. You don't have to figure out what you're going to wear in the morning. CertaPro picked gold as their color. So every CertaPro person you ever see is wearing a gold shirt. They don't even make different color shirts. It's all gold. Okay, whatever. You could pick one color blue and stick with it. Then you don't even have to worry about it. You know what? You can get away with wearing the same shirt 2 or 3 days in a row. It doesn't matter because it's all blue anyway. All right, so let's see. Unless you're in South Carolina and you sweat to death. That's all, I'll leave that alone. All right, so let's swap back over here, because this is exactly what we just drew up. So we said we want to build rapport with the customer. We want to assess the current situation and determine the customer's needs. We want to measure and price the job. We want to explain who we are and what we do, help the customer pick products and present price and ask for the sale. Now, after this, we can talk about, what does it mean to do paperwork and follow up? That's great. Let me give you at a high level and in a very, very quick period of time, what some of the tactics are that you can look forward to. So how do we build rapport with the customer? Was there a question?
Yeah, real quick. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is there a way to get, I know we're going to be able to get the video, but can we actually get the PowerPoint for this?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yep.
I would love that because I think it would help out a lot, especially in the office.
Yep. So, and I've not done this before. I'll leave it up to you guys. I'll get your feedback. If it's helpful for you to get PowerPoints in advance, I can send them to you in advance. Now, what you're going to find is I don't normally stick directly to the PowerPoint. I go where, I go where the Spirit leads me. But I will typically I'll typically tailor things as I need to during class, but at least you'll have, hey, this is the starting point. This is what I'm working from.
That would be perfect if at least I could get that. I think it would be very helpful to give us an idea of where we're headed during these conversations,
Sure.
to be able to think that out and be able to say, okay, yeah, this is kind of where my mindset is on this particular part.
Love it. All right. So what does it look like for us to build rapport with the customer? First of all, we do a setup call. And what does a setup call look like? And we have a warm up. What does a setup call look like? Now, I take the Inspired Sales System and I break it into 3 levels: a beginner level, and an intermediate level, and an advanced level. So at a beginner level, what does it mean to do a setup call? First of all, introduce yourself and introduce your company. Now, this next bullet, it's losing some steam, but there are still places in the country where people are still very sensitive about COVID. So if your COVID procedures are, we don't care about COVID, well, then that's what it is. If your procedures are that, no, we still will wear a mask if you want us to wear a mask, and we'll sanitize and whatever else, okay, that's fine. I'm not telling you what those procedures are. I'm just asking you in the setup call to tell your customer this is what we do. Okay. Can you confirm the date, the time, the address? Can you build a little bit of excitement when you're talking to them on the phone? If you can do those 4 things, then you have now done a setup call. And you can check it off the box, and you can hold your head up high. And when we see each other at convention, you don't have to turn and run the other way because you never did a setup call. You did those 4 things. Congratulations, you did a setup call. Now, we can make a setup call even better. At an intermediate level, we can find out if there's anybody else that needs to be present to have input. We can set expectations for the appointment so the customer knows what to expect. And we can find out who referred them to Floor Coverings International. And there's some very specific language around this that helps your customer recognize that, oh, wait a minute, you're not just a random company. A lot of your business comes through referrals. That's really, really good. Okay. These are just tactics. At the end of the day, whether you do these or not in the setup call doesn't change the fact that you did a setup call. You did a setup call. It's just, did you include these things that could help you? At an advanced level, you can do some weird stuff. Like, you could tell the customer that you're going to send them a link to your website that has before and after pictures, or you can send them a link to your Google reviews so that they can check you out before you get there. If you never talk to anybody in a setup call about Google reviews, that doesn't mean you didn't do a setup call. It just means that those are some tactics that you chose not to use. Does that make sense? And I want to make this really clear, because I don't want to leave you with the impression that, well, if I never send them, I don't ever send a link to my website, I must not be doing a setup call the right way. It's not about being right or wrong. That's a tactic that you either choose to use or not use. Now, the reality is, I know, and I think you intrinsically know, that if you could send a link to your customer ahead of time and let them see before and after pictures and get excited about things, or send them a link to your Google reviews and get excited about all the great work that you've done, I think you and I would agree. I mean, just empirically, that, yeah, that would probably help. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, right? Okay. But if you don't do it, you don't do it. Okay. What about a warm up? Well, you get to the home, can you build rapport with the customer? That's what a warm up means. Okay. Well, let me share with you another tactic. You could ask some transition questions and get an objection from the customer. You could get some information to personalize the company story. So that allows you to do it even better. And what about advanced? Well, there's some advanced stuff, like, I'll just do one. You could identify personality traits. Is this somebody that's a hard go-getter? Is this somebody that's more cautious? And as you pick up on that, then you sort of change the way that, you're not changing the process, but you're changing the way that you're delivering the material, so that now all of a sudden it hits them where it needs to hit them. Okay, those are advanced techniques. At a beginner, if you're just doing these things, you're doing the inspired sale. When you start adding in some of these intermediate tactics and some of these advanced tactics, you're getting better and better, and eventually great with the inspired sales system. All right, how do we assess the current situation? Well, we call it step 2. It's called an inspection. And at a beginner level, can you identify what the current floor is and how it was installed? Can you identify the subfloor? Can you determine what will have to be moved? In other words, there's furniture that's got to be moved. There's all this stuff that's got to come out. You got to understand what you're going to take out of the floor. Like, I've got to pull carpet up. Can you figure out what the customer likes and doesn't like about their current floor? Can you figure out what they want their new floor to look like and feel like and how they want it to last? And then in the end, do you have enough information to be able to walk out to the van and pick a product that will work for your customer? Doesn't mean you're going to get it 100% on the first time, but can you walk out? Let's do it this way. Could you walk out of the house and pick 3 or 4 boards that probably are going to fit what they're looking for? If you've done that, then you've done a really good inspection, because now you can go out and actually pick something that they're going to like. At an intermediate level, now you can do this thing called selling a reference list, which now, okay, gives the customer an opportunity to talk to previous customers, or you can expand scope by asking about other projects. At an advanced level, hey, you could do some price conditioning while you're inspecting the space, or, you know, there's some other things that you could do to make this even better. It's same as before. At a beginner level, you're still doing the inspired sale. At an intermediate level, you're getting better with it. At an advanced level, you're getting great with it. All right, what does it mean to measure the job? Well, at a beginner level, can you measure the space, and can you create a floor plan in the tablet? Can you create multiple options, and can you go out to the van and pick 2 to 4 boards per option? So if you create 3 options for the customer, can you pick somewhere between 2 and 4 boards for each one of those options? At an intermediate level, now there's some additional tactics, like I could drive urgency in this thing by creating an inspection video. And at an advanced level, I could do something really crazy, like actually using some tools during that inspection video. And we'll talk about that when we get to the inspection video. And what are some of the basic tools that you can use to really hit that home? For example, you could take a $30 black light from Amazon and sell $8 billion worth of carpet. Or I should say, rip out $8 billion worth of carpet when you show customers what's really on their floor. All right, we could explain who we are and how we do it. So this is step 4 and step 5. At a beginner level, can you deliver the company story? I mean, not well, but can you do it? Can you put some transitions between the slides so it doesn't feel so much like a PowerPoint presentation, but it feels like you're just having a conversation with somebody? Can you present the installation video and then deliver the rest of the slides after the installation video? And Richard, I know you've done this before. The new company story is so much better than the one that we had before. It's unbelievable. At an intermediate level, can you do things like personalizing the company story? Can you help the customer understand what's in it for me? At an advanced level, okay, now we're starting to do things like price conditioning and customizing the company story. How do we help the customer pick out products? Well, at a beginner level, I just want you to be able to present product to the customer by saying, I chose this product for you because you said. Great. Can you use information directly on the product board? So you don't have to be an expert at flooring. If you can simply use the information that's on the product board itself, can you do that to help the customer pick out the right product? And can you pick a product for the customer that looks and feels like exactly what they're looking for? At an intermediate level, can you confirm that the customer loves it? Right? Absolutely loves it. Okay. And at an advanced level, now there's some other things that we can bring into place. So can you utilize product demos or a subfloor build-up to make this a more tactile experience for the customer? All right. How about pre-diagnosing the close? At a beginner level, we don't even do this step. At an intermediate level, there's a pre-close question and a commitment statement that we give, and at an advanced level, there's another tactic that we can pull. Then, of course, we've got to present price and ask for the sale. So at a beginner level, can you present the price to the customer? Can you actually show them the price? Well, that sort of talks to whether or not you have confidence that the price that you're about to show them is the correct one, but can you show them a price? And can you present payment options? And do you actually have the gumption to ask for the sale? I'm surprised at how many times people don't ask for the sale. I mean, they just, you know, show a price out there and, well, there it is. Okay, well, there's a natural question here. You know, do I get the sale or not? Come on, guys, we got to ask for the sale. I'm pretty sure that you land 0% of the jobs when you don't ask for the sale. At an intermediate level, then we can start getting into things like the walk of life and navigating payment options and doing some neat stuff. And at an advanced level, yeah, there's some additional closing tactics that we can talk about. Now, paperwork, you're going to have these because I'm going to send you the slides, and you can go back through and you can see the paperwork stuff that's done and the post-close stuff that's done. We'll get to those eventually, but right now I just want to focus on the sales piece. And of course, there's follow-up, whether you land the job or you don't land the job. Again, you'll have these slides and you can go in and dive deeper into these. At a beginner level, if you master everything that's listed as a beginner level, you are absolutely doing the inspired sale. If you master the intermediate stuff, you're going to get better with the inspired sale, and you're going to get great the more of these advanced tactics that you use. Now, let's think about the next 5 weeks. I don't need 5 weeks to teach you how to be a beginner. I really don't. We could probably do beginner training in a couple of hours and then you're done. So there's not a lot of value in me training you to be a beginner. And it's not possible to train you in all of the advanced tactics in the next 5 weeks, because to be able to do a lot of the advanced tactics, you really have to be out there running appointments and have the real life experience of doing it before those things sink in. So my goal for this class is to train you at the intermediate level. That's what I'm trying to do. So if you want to know what we're going to cover over the next few weeks, you can go back through these slides, and everywhere that says intermediate, I'm trying to cover basic and intermediate on each one of those points. The inspired sales system, I am 100% believer that sales is a skill that can be improved with technique and practice. I personally believe that there's only about 2% of the population that are natural salespeople, and everybody else has to work at it. I have yet to meet somebody that I looked at and said, oh yeah, this person is just natural at sales. They don't exist. You might be really, really good at sales. You might have been great at sales in your previous job. I'm not going to take that away from you. Congratulations. But it's probably not because you're just natural at sales. It's because you worked at it. You have experience at doing what you did. You committed yourself to learning your product and learning what it was that you were selling and figuring out how to do it. I am 100% convinced that if you actually practice something, whether it's playing the guitar, whether it's a sport or a hobby or anything that you're wanting to do, you actually have to practice it to get good at. And I firmly believe that sales falls in that camp. It is a skill that can be improved with technique and practice. And this now gives you a system to be able to practice. Okay, so what does the inspired sales system look like? These are the same things that we just went through: building rapport with the customer, assessing the current situation, listening to the customer's needs, measuring and estimating the job, educating them on who they are, on who we are and what we do, and helping the customer pick product, flipping a price and asking for the sale. Here we go. If I do the language translation, so here's your Babel translation to the inspired sales system. Building rapport with the customer is what we call the setup call in step 1. Assessing the current situation is what we call step 2. Listening to the customer's needs and measuring and estimating the job, we do that in step 3. And yes, there's some additional tactics that are there. Step 4 and step 5 is our company story and installation presentation. That's where we educate the customer on who we are and what we do. Step 6 is your product presentation. Now watch this: flipping the price and asking for the sale. Step 8. What happened in step 7? Step 9 and 10, that's where we get into paperwork and post-close, and step 11 and follow-up. So steps 9 and 10, no matter what sales system you use, once the sale is made, there's always some kind of follow-up. There's always some sort of paperwork. This is all logistics stuff for me. And the residual meaning happens after that. So the one piece that's missing here is what we call step 7. Step 7 is that pre-close question. It literally is 30 seconds in the whole process of everything. and it is truly a diagnostic step to help you understand what you're about to get into in the close. So I know that I went through that really fast. I don't expect that you remember all that. That's why I give you the slides. But I want to stop here and ask what questions you might have at this point.
Are you ready for it?
Well, I'm ready for it. Are you ready for it?
Not the question. I'm asking the customer, are you ready for it to move on
Gotcha.
forward?
Okay. Yep. Any questions about the sales system? Anything that you've seen that you're like, wait a minute, I don't get it. I don't know it. What's going on here?
No, it all seems pretty exact and pretty simple. It's just diving into each section that's going to expand what we can actually do. Because it's very simple to go step 1, step 2, all the way through step 11, right? But it's how to get through those steps that's going to matter.
100%. Yep, and that's why we take the time that we do to dive into it. So today, I'm going through the whole thing start to finish so that you see that we have a linear flow that we're working through. Next week, we're going to dive deep into the setup call in step 1, and we will address exactly what you're talking about, Richard. We're going to go through the next 5 weeks and dive into each individual step as a way of digging into each one to understand what can we really squeeze out of this step.
Which I think is perfect because it's not only good for those of us, because I know there's quite a few people who have had no flooring experience whatsoever other than being hired on to do this and what can happen. And then there's those of us who have had experience with flooring, but it's a different experience. Even though I've been with Floor Coverings International 5 years ago, a couple of years ago, things changed. The basic steps are all the same, but it's how you dive into each one of those steps and how you work through each one of those steps for each different customer that's going to make the difference. And I think going through each of these steps over the next 5 weeks is going to be extremely helpful for all of us, especially those that have actually had the experience in flooring, because FCI is a little bit different than some of those other companies that are out there. And that's why FCI is successful, as we are, which is also why I chose FCI over some other company. There are other companies that do what we do, but not the way we do it.
Love it. Good, thank you. All right, so why does it work? Well, it is a customer-focused system. This system identifies objections early so that you have an opportunity to work through them. I know other sales systems that I've looked at, that I've studied, they all just get in and get to the price fast, and then they focus on how do we put hard pressure on the customer to close at the end. And this is not like that. This, you want to get the objections early so that you have a chance to work through those during your appointment. So when you're talking about price, you're talking about price. We're going to establish expertise. We're going to create a little urgency. We're going to convert those objections. We are going to come up with solutions, right? So I know the ABCs of selling is always be closing. I say it's ABS, always be solving, not selling, solving. So we're out there trying to help solve customers' problems. And when we solve a customer's problem, they buy from us. When you look at the inspired sale, you're going to see this graphic over and over again. So here it is, just laid out. I can't do one straight line on the screen. I have to make it into this little snake. So when I look at this, who remembers what is the number one reason that people buy from us, or buy from you, or buy from anybody? The number one reason.
They like us.
The people. The people. So the number one reason that people buy is the people. And it's not a big surprise that the first part of the sales system is all about people. The second reason that people buy is because of the company. It's not a big surprise that the next part of the sales system has to do with the company. It should not be a big surprise. The third reason that people buy from you is because of the product. this is intentionally designed that is the next part of the sales process. And then finally, yes, price is a piece of this. So there we go. There's your price. So and then residual meaning shows up at the end. When you think about the reason that people buy, the people buy from you, the person, they buy from the company, they buy because they love the product, and they buy because they felt like the price for the value that they were getting was a good value. Okay, good. There they are, and they're in the right order. That's part of the reason why this system works. Now, there's some tools that I want to share with you. First of all, you've got your Inspired Sale Competency Assessment Form. This is something that you will absolutely be working with. From time to time, I will have your franchise owners go out and sort of grade you, so to speak. I just want you to know that 1 to 5, 5 means that you can coach it. 1 means that you're still learning it. 2 means you're still learning it. 3 means you're competent. So I'm not expecting everybody to show up with all 5s. I'm expecting everybody to come out of this class with 3s. 3 is good, okay? 3 is not, oh my God, that's like a C. No, it's not like an A, B, C, D, or F. This is truly an assessment of where you are, and a 3 means that you're competent at doing it. Okay, good. The form itself, I'm going to send you a copy of the whole thing so that you can see it, but it's, can you introduce yourself in the company in the setup call? Rating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, okay, you might get a 5 on that. You might get to a point where you can teach somebody else how to do that. Good. What about in the warm-up? What about in the inspection? Literally, you could have somebody that knows nothing about Floor Coverings International. You could have your spouse, a significant other, a friend next door. You could go through this process with somebody and use this assessment form, and they could rate you on, did you do a good job with that, or did you cover it or not? When you think about some of the resources that are going to be available to you, so during the course of what we're doing, I will talk to you about Floor 1.1 and where you can find stuff there. Floor U, the IT website we'll go over. Salesforce, Power BI, Mobile 3.0. There's a lot of resources that are out there for you. Okay, but I want to dive in for a moment because we've got about 10 minutes left, and I want to be respectful of your time. I want to dive into sort of your homework review. So week 1, I told you this is the heaviest week for homework, so let's talk through what you're going to need to do. First of all, I'm going to ask you to memorize, and I'm not going to ask you to memorize a ton, but there's a lot of memorization in this first week. And I'm not going to ask you to memorize anything else until we get to the end. Memorize the step 1 word-for-word questions. I want you to memorize the company story slide order. I'm not asking you to memorize the company story. I'll explain that in just a moment. Week 1, all of the material in week 1 of Floor U, in the Salesforce, just at least get the basic navigation. Ride-alongs, DAs, get those ride-alongs done and get reference list pictures. All right, so what are these questions that I want you to memorize? First of all, there are really 4 questions, if I'm honest. How long have you been thinking about replacing your flooring? What made you decide to do it today? Oh, really? What makes you say that? And then there's like a 2B question. What made you decide to buy from me today? If you'll just take the time and memorize these, it's going to make life a whole lot easier on you. So put these on a flashcard, put them on a note, whatever works for you for memorization. Just memorize these 4 questions. Later.
Hey, Arlen, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, please.
Okay, guys, so I've worked for Floor Coverings International in the past, and all of these questions worked extremely well for me. So I'm going through the training again because it's been a few years since I've done this. But these questions are the questions that I asked. And at the time, 4 or 5 years ago, I beat every record that was out there. And I think that there are quite a few people in this group, after hearing your stories and hearing how you get along with your owners, that can really, really beat all of the records that are out there. And for me, records are a thing where you kind of really sit there and go, okay, how good am I compared to the past? So I think if you look at these questions, actually ask them to your customers. I know it sounds kind of corny sometimes, but they really do work. Ask those questions, and it's going to excel your percentages way above what you thought they would be. No matter how corny it may seem, it worked for me. I think it can work for you guys as well. They wouldn't teach us this if it didn't work.
Good, thank you. So we will dig into the reason behind these questions next week. I'm just asking you between now and then to commit them to memory, and then we'll dig into the whys behind it. I'm going to go ahead and give you these. Don't worry about these yet. We will get to these down the road, but just so that you have them, this is your step 7 question and your closing question. We'll get to those later. Now, when it comes to learning the company story, I'm just going to share with you, this is my process for helping you learn the company story. This week, I'm going to ask you to learn the slide order. That's it. I'm not asking you to be able to do a company story. I just want you to know the name of each slide as you go through it. The second week, I'm going to ask you to learn the content on each slide. And I'm not asking you to memorize the script. I don't want you to memorize the script. I just want you to know, what is the main point? What is the thing that I'm trying to communicate on this slide? Just understand what is the main point. Then I'm going to ask you to put transitions between the slides. So it doesn't sound like, okay, here's slide number 1. Now here's slide number 2. It doesn't feel that way. It feels more like it's just a fluid thing. And then finally, we will talk, when we get a few weeks from now, we'll talk about how do you personalize it and help the customer understand what's in it for me. So when it comes to learning the slide order for next week, this is the first slide in the company story. And it's the slide I've titled My Job. Okay, so you can know this as the My Job slide. All right, I don't need you to know anything about the content behind this slide or anything else, just this is the My Job slide. This is the promise slide. Okay, so My Job promise. And our promise is to provide the best flooring experience in North America. And we first serve others. So this slide is all about service. We call it the serve slide. All right, and there's other companies that we work, or there's other sister companies that are in our network. That's great, but this is the serve slide. So we have done business for over 400,000 customers. We've got over 200 locations across North America. That's great. It's good information to know, but that's not what I want you to know for next week. All I want you to know for next week is this is the map slide. So next week at the beginning of the call, I'm going to ask several of you to simply give me the company, not give me the company story, but give me the slide order. And I want you to be able to say from memory, My Job, promise, serve, map, reviews. Right? I just want you to be able to recite. This is the order of it, okay? My Job, promise, serve, map, reviews. BBB. Great, okay? So you may or may not realize this, but the Better Business Bureau did a survey, they did a study, and they found over 10.7 million complaints that were registered with the BBB against the home improvement industry. As a result, this industry, I'm not talking about floor coverings, I'm talking about the home improvement industry. The home improvement industry was put #1 on the Better Business Bureau hit list. It's the worst industry that's out there. My apologies for anybody that may have family. It's even worse than attorneys. It just is, right? It's worse than the cable company. This is the worst industry out there. So one of the things that came out of the study was that 80% of the time, when people took the lowest bid, they had a hard time just getting their job finished. Never mind done well, just get it done. Okay, that's all good to know, but you don't need to know that for next week. All you need to know is that the next slide in the order is BBB. The next slide is a star slide. Okay, so this is how we earn our stars. Through a mobile flooring showroom, a local team you can trust. We're going to communicate like crazy with people and support customers. We've got seamless customer service, and we're going to focus on customer satisfaction. That's all good to know. You don't have to know any of that for next week. Next week, I expect to be able to say, hey, John, can you just give me the list of slides? And John's going to look at me and say, yeah, sure. My Job, promise, serve, map, reviews, BBB, stars, trusted. All right, so we're a trusted source. We're licensed and insured. We're continuously trained. You don't have to know that. All you need to know is that the next slide is trusted. And then installation. The next slide behind installation is the installation video. And then choice. Okay, so how do you choose? How do you choose? You got mom and pop stores, you got big box stores, you got other mobile companies out there. How do you make a choice? Okay, good. So we can talk a little bit about choice, but you don't need to know that for next week. We're manufactured direct. So by that, I mean that there's a chain of custody when it comes to your flooring. When, you know, with a lot of the big box stores, stuff shows up in their warehouse and it gets lost and it gets sold and put in somebody else's house. With us, it comes to our warehouse and we're absolutely direct. There's a chain of custody, which means that we absolutely know where your product has been at all times. That's good to know, but you don't have to know that for next week. Just know that this is the direct slide. So you would go back and I would say, Kelsey, what are the slides? And Kelsey's going to say, my job, promise, serve, a map, reviews, BBB, stars, trusted, installation video, choice, direct, versus. And this is a wonderful slide to be able to explain the difference between Floor Coverings International and a lot of our competitors, and especially the way that our competitors price things. The easy slide, the happy slide, and the build it slide. So there's your company story. So for next week, I would love to be able to say, hey, Anthony, can you give me the company story slide order? And Anthony takes himself off mute and says, yep, my job, promise, serve, map, reviews, BB, stars, trusted, installation video, choice, direct, versus, easy, happy, build it. That's it. I mean, it's 15 seconds, for crying out loud. This is not that big a deal, okay? So put them on a flashcard, print this out, whatever you have to do, tattoo it on your, no, don't tattoo it. I mean, maybe henna, but, you know, do something so that you can remember this. Because if you'll remember that just the name of the slides, what is the order of the slides? When you start putting content on it, you're not having to think about what is the next slide. It's already there. You already know the next slide is this. I know the next slide is this. The next slide is this. All right. I remember doing an appointment for this lady, and she wanted carpet removed. And it was interesting because one of the corporate people had actually driven to South Carolina and met me at this appointment, and he wanted to see what I was doing. So that was good. Nothing like putting a little pressure on you, right? So I sat down at the table, and the customer sat across from me at the table, and I had my tablet, and the tablet was facing the customer, and I couldn't see what was on the, I couldn't see the screen. The back of the tablet was facing me, and the corporate, Albert Hermans, if any of you have met Albert, was sitting next to me. And as I'm doing the company story, I'm swiping. I'm doing the company story, swiping, doing the company story, swiping. I never looked at the tablet, never looked at it. And when we got finished and we're out in the car, Albert looks at me and says, you know, I've seen people do this company story. I've never seen anybody be able to do it without actually looking to make, if nothing else, to make sure that the slide actually swiped. How did you do that? I said, well, it's all about positioning. She had a china cabinet behind her that had a mirror in it, so I could see the slide from the back.
Very nice.
All right, come on, guys. Let's be real. All right, so for next week, I don't expect you to memorize a company story. I don't expect you to memorize scripts and all that stuff. I just want you to be able to know this is it, right? So this is 15 seconds. My job, promise, serve, map, reviews, BBB, stars, trusted, installation video, choice, direct, versus, easy, happy, build it. That's it. Just know the order of the slides. Okay? So that's what I mean. Memorize step one, word for word. Memorize the company story slide order. In Floor U, you're doing the week one material. In Floor U, you're doing the Salesforce basic navigation. You're going to keep on getting those ride-alongs and getting reference list pictures. Our next call is next week, Wednesday. We're same bat time, same bat channel. And if you missed today's call, and you're going back and rewatching this, I can at least give you 75% attendance credit if you'll send me an email that says I watched it, I got to the end, and the makeup word was Kelly's Wellies. And yes, there are extra points if you figure out where the makeup words come from. So there's an opportunity for bonus points. Questions about anything we've done? We've run out of time, but I don't want to short you guys. Questions about anything we've done today, the expectations for homework for next week? Don't let yourself get behind. There's probably 20 hours worth of stuff in Floor U. It's a lot of work. I know it is, but it's well worth it.
Where did Kelly's Wellies come from?
What's that, Richard?
Where did Kelly's Wellies come from? That's the answer, right?
No, no. There is a place that I get the code word from. So where did that code word come from?
Right. That's what I'm asking you. Where did it come from?
Oh, I know the answer. Come on.
Well, yeah, but you got to give us the answer too. We're on the call.
No. That's for you to find out.
But man,
The slide say May, we're doing April test, April 19th. It says May.
Good call.
Like,
Good call. That's me at 11 o'clock at night, making sure that stuff is right, and then that missed me. Good job. Yes. So our next call is the 19th of April. Thank you. And that should already be on your calendars.
What do you mean by reference list pictures?
Oh, good question. So if your franchise owner is not using the reference list, then that's an opportunity for you to be able to help them out. So getting reference list pictures. So we will talk about what does it mean to have a reference list, having a list of previous customers that you can give to your customer so that they can call people and ask them what their experience was like. And that means getting a picture with that customer so that they have your face and the customer's face side by side, and they say, "Oh, this is somebody that you work with." Good. All right, gang. Well, like I said, this was absolutely the worst week. It is the worst week for homework. It is the worst week for me spending a lot of time just talking. If I could find a way to make this more interactive, I would, but there's a lot of material I got to cover in week one, and it ends up meaning that I have to talk a lot. Next week, it'll be a lot more interactive. I'll have you guys in breakout rooms. You'll be practicing doing stuff. We'll make it a lot more interactive, and you'll have a chance to get to know one another even better. So I'm going to hang out here for the next couple of minutes and see if there's any last minute questions. Otherwise, I will release the hounds, go and do your thing, and I'll see you guys next week.
Harlan, I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
The original spreadsheet that you did showing attendance, okay, I was following it along and I saw a lot of 100% in green, and then I saw myself who been through the whole thing here, and I had a 0 there. Are we supposed to mark our own attendance, or?
So you must, I mean, I was pulling it up right at the beginning of class and Savannah was still marking
Oh, okay,
stuff.
okay. I'm here now. Okay, that's fine.
Yep, it's there now.
Since Jason's out of town, I don't want him to think I was bunking off school. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
And you're going to do a follow-up on the homework. Yes, that's like.
Sorry, go ahead, John.
You're going to do a follow-up email with the homework slide, or I'm just going to catch it on the replay?
I'm going to send a follow-up email. I'm going to send an email that has a link to the recording.
Good.
I will also have a picture of this spreadsheet so that everybody can see where you are. The recap email will have several other documents attached to it that you'll see, but it will include the PowerPoint presentation so that you'll be able to get that PowerPoint. You can open it up. You can just take that one homework slide, whatever you need to do with it.
Yeah, you were going in and out of it. Yeah. So I wanted, and I was trying to write it down on a notebook, and I wasn't getting it. So okay, perfect.
Sure. Okay.
Well, I was trying to find out where my name is on that spreadsheet, and I couldn't find my name.
You're not there yet because you are a sort of a last minute ad. Owen hired you right at the last minute.
Okay.
So you will be on there probably within the next half hour. I'll have your connections made as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep. Good. Anything else?
Yes, when we were talking about the slides and how when you're completing certain videos, it just won't let you push next or complete. So I'm already on like the last, what would it be? Like the last chapter of week 1, but there's 3 different chapters, I'd say, that I cannot push next on. So it's showing that I'm still at a 38%. but I'm just unable to get through. So I just kind of continued on to the next.
Right.